Bitch, I'm about to blow up. Say what? Bitch, I'm about to blow up.
What's happening, guys? Silent Mike, Super Training Gym, Mark Bell's Powercast, Reebok1.com. Here, checking in, saying what's up, answering some questions from Instagram and YouTube. Let's get started. Cabby Fit says, non-lifting related, how to stand out within the fitness community. Physique, strength, knowledge, personality, what do I think are the most important? I think all of them are important, and I don't have the answer. If I had the answer, I'd be the #1 guy in fitness. But I do think that you need to find your niche. You need to find what you're good at and push that. Personally, I'm never going to be a world-class powerlifter. I think I'm a decent powerlifter, average powerlifter. I think my personality is okay. I don't think I'm the coolest guy in the world, but I don't think I'm the lamest guy. My physique's okay. Looks like I've maybe touched a weight before, but I'm never going to be Phil Heath. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of combine them all. I'm trying to be learn as much as I can, surround myself with the best, soak in their knowledge. I obviously hang out with Mark Bell, who's a great powerlifter and has plenty of years experience above mine, so I try to hang out with him. Luckily enough, he introduced me to Eric Spoto, Stan Efferding, Ed Cohn, so I try to pick their brains whenever I can and gather as much knowledge from the greats as I can, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. What is it like to be a strong motherfucker? I'm not all that strong. I think I'm decently strong. Strong is very relative, so in the powerlifting world, I'm not that strong. I guess to an average guy who doesn't deadlift squat, you know, I'm decently strong in the deadlift and squat. How come strong dudes from the USAPL/IPF never get any airtime from you guys? There are some absolutely amazing lifters from those guys like Ray Williams. I've wondered, as their numbers are certainly similar to some of the lifters that aren't willing to do drug tests. There's no reason. We talk about them all the time on the podcast, and I'm friends with a lot of them. Lane Norton, Bryce Lewis, some of the USAPL, some of the best USAPL guys. They're good homies. Candido, I've chatted with him a little bit. I think all those guys are awesome. Mike Tashir is a monster. Mark is friends with Mike Tashir. We'd love to have him on the Powercast whenever they're in our area and want to visit Super Training. I know Tashir was in Italy for a while, but as soon as he makes it out here, man, we'll have him on first thing. Blaine Sumner, those guys are beasts. We give them plenty of respect and plenty of love. From 200 to lose, my homie, he asks, if someone isn't training for a meet, how do you recommend they train? You know, if it's depending on your goals, obviously, but I would just find a program that you like, that you enjoy, and then just hit it. Whether that's a bodybuilding 5-day split, whether that's a push-pull legs, off repeat, whether it's a conjugate split, whatever you like to do, man. The point is that you're in there and you're training. That's it. Tips on designing a conjugate method. The conjugate method is pretty much set up. The only thing you have to do is choose your exercises per workout. And the way you do that is by your weakness. If you have weak quads, maybe you hit more front squats. If you have weak hips and hammies, maybe you're hitting a box squat. If your lockout's weak on the deadlift, maybe you're hitting block pulls. That's kind of how you choose your exercises in the conjugate method. If I'm not planning to compete, no one's planning to compete. What's a good substitute for the deadlifts, just for overall health? I can squat heavy, but I can't pull because of past injury. I think a box squat's a good substitute. It's pretty safe. I don't know what your injury is. You didn't specify. Elevated deadlift, so a block pull or a rack pull is a good idea. Less range of motion, less mobility needed for it. Trap bar deadlifts, a little bit easier to get in position for most people. I'd try those out. Maybe even just a stiff leg, maybe a Romanian, stuff like that. Maybe use a dumbbell deadlift, a kettlebell deadlift. Just figure out what you can do. What's the best way to design a 2-a-day styled powerlifting program? To be honest, even some of the top level guys, I don't know a lot of powerlifters that do 2-a-day programs. 2-a-days typically are for more of an endurance athlete or a sport where it takes more skills than powerlifting. In powerlifting, all you need is bench, squat, and deadlift. 2-a-days are typically for guys that play soccer, where you have to dribble, shoot, pass, run fast, run long time, stuff like that, or basketball, football, etc. You know, in those sports, you'll work out in the morning in the weight room. Maybe in the afternoon, you have 2 hours where you'll do your actual sport practice with your team, and then at night you do conditioning, running, jogging, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what it goes. If you really want to do something for powerlifting, I'd say split it up by maybe conditioning in the morning or night, and then lifting the other time. Or if you really want to split it up, I guess you could do your main lift in the morning or afternoon, meaning deadlift and deadlift only, and then eat whatever. Your 2-day would be all the accessories, stiff leg deadlift, back, stuff like that, back and biceps, I guess. Same with the bench. Maybe you just bench in the morning, for half an hour to 45 minutes or half an hour to an hour, break, whatever. Then your second workout would be triceps, shoulders, upper back, whatever works for your bench press. What kind of camera do you guys film with? I have no clue. I'm on just an iPad. Jim McD does a bunch of our stuff for the podcast. He has tons of equipment I have no clue about. We do some filming with Chris Bell, who has some fancy camera I have no clue about. I just kind of show up, lift, and try to act. Any advice for competing at a meet at 8:30 in the morning? My advice is train at 8:30 in the morning. At Super Training, it's kind of easy because we always squat Saturday early morning. But most meets, I believe, you'll be lifting, 9, 10 in the morning. Some of the heavier guys won't squat until 11 or 12, but maybe just start trying to make your sessions early. If you have work at 8:30, then squat at 6:30. If you can squat at 6:30, you can squat at 8. The day of the meet, what I do recommend is waking up, 2 to 3 hours earlier than you'll actually be lifting. Get a meal in, get a shower in, really wake up, then you'll be ready to lift. What accessories do you recommend for the most for building a bigger bench and triceps? Benching, slingshot bench, close grip, some boards will help. Isolation-wise, dumbbells always help. Triceps, whether it's a JM, a skull crusher, a rolling tricep dumbbell, anything that you can handle a lot of weight with. How much caffeine would you say is too much in one day? I'm no doctor, man. Look that up, but typically I just try to keep it to like 2 cups of coffee or maybe 1 energy drink. That's about it. This guy says he takes about 800 milligrams. That does seem like a lot, but like I said, I'm no doctor. Maybe Google it. They'll help you out. My man Tim Thibodeau, who I believe is on YouTube. I met him once, I think, at the Arnold. He said, thoughts on power building. Power building is kind of a concept, I think that's kind of new. A lot of powerlifters train this way, but it's kind of combining powerlifting and bodybuilding. And that's depending on your program or how you powerlift, you basically do that. There's kind of 2 roads in powerlifting only, really, 2 programs. One is you get all your volume from the barbell and the main strict movements. So the squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, and then you do sets of maybe 8 to 15 in those once in a while to get your volume. The other way is that you lift heavy with the barbells, and then you get your accessories and your volume secondary from accessory movements. I think both could be considered power building. And I think no matter how, if you're lifting weights, you're going to be building muscle and building strength. Even if you're hitting singles, you're kind of doing that. Obviously, you want to get a little bit more volume if you want to be a bodybuilder or gain mass. And diet, nutrition, all that's kind of a given. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of the lifestyle that I live is kind of being, jacked and tan, for lack of a better phrase. But I want to look like I lift, and I also want to lift some heavy weight. My first goal is always to get stronger. I always want to be better at the power lifts, but then I also want to catch volume. And I do a mixture of both. I catch a lot of volume in my lifts, so I'll work up to a heavy 3 in the deadlift. Then I'll do some drop sets and catch some volume. Or I'll do a heavy lift, and then I'll move on and catch some volume with maybe stiff legs, maybe good mornings, maybe some type of machine, stuff like that. Best way for a beginner to get into powerlifting, lifting in general, the best way is just to do it. Google a program, Jim Wendler's 531, The Cube by Brandon Lilly, the Texas Method, 5x5. There's tons of different programs, and just start doing it. Bunch of people asking if we're coming to the UK. I don't see anything planned for the UK. We've talked about going to Body Power. Obviously, it's not going to be this year, but eventually maybe we'll make it over there. Overhead press or bench press strength, or bench press for general strength. Overall and general strength is obviously a very general term. So if you want to be good at doing the overhead, do the overhead. If you want to be good at the bench press, do the bench press. Both are great movements depending on your sport or what do you want to be good at. Overhead obviously works a little bit more shoulders. Bench press obviously works a little bit more chest and triceps, even though overhead works, your triceps and whatever else a bunch too. What else do we got? We'll take one more here. Do you have to be tan to be jacked, or can you be pale and jacked? My friends, the jacked and tan lifestyle. It is a combination of trying to look good, look like you lift, and lifting some heavy-ass weight, and that's all it is. I'm very pale, but I try to live the jacked and tan lifestyle. It's just the method, just the theory. The actual tan is fake. Not fake tan, but the tan is fake, and that's it, guys. Subscribe if you like the video. Please share it. I'm going to be popping these out every Monday and Thursday. Maybe extras here and there if I got time. Thanks for watching. Thanks.